Welcome to Let's Talk, where we explore the powerful intersection of mental and physical well being. I'm your host, Vaishali Patil. Today, we are stepping into an inspiring conversation about a movement in the perfect setting of Birkenhead Park. We are exploring Walk with the Dog with Dr. Sue Smith, a program that's proving how something as simple as walk can create profound changes in both our physical and mental health. Whether you're a dedicated walker, someone looking to start their wellness journey, or simply curious about community driven health initiatives, this episode will show you how small steps can lead to remarkable transformations. So lace up your walking shoes and let's begin this journey together. Welcome, Dr. Sue Smith. What a lovely day today at Birkenhead Park.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure to have this interview with you regarding the group that you run at Birkenhead Park for Walk the Dog. What inspired you to start this group?
Such a good question. I was inspired very much it was about 2018, so quite a few years ago. I was qualifying in lifestyle medicine as a doctor, and part of the resources had walk with the dog. My usual curiosity got the better of me, and I started looking at it. And I noticed that this cardiologist had started off in America, just taking people out on the walk that he was doing to encourage physical activity. He felt that he was saying very similar things every time, but maybe if they wanted to come, he could walk the talk. And that's how it started. I think it's almost 20 years old now, and it's gone around the world. So it's now an international venture. And we've set up chapters now in the UK. And I decided to do that myself. And that's what started it off.
That's wonderful. So this is worldwide and anybody can set up in any country. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's a medically led, so it's a walk with a doc, which is short for doctor. And so it's doctors can lead it, health professionals can get involved as well. And junior doctors can get involved, ones in training. And the intention there is for doctors to, like I say, walk the talk. Doctors interested in applying the lifestyle as medicine in people's conditions and life. It allows them that opportunity to talk about those benefits. We have a talk at the beginning. We're in nature. We obviously walk. And the big part of it is just creating a community. And so very much a venture set up for doctors to be part of and to offer back into their community using this.
Since how many years have you been doing this? Have you set up this group and do you have people consistently joining? Do you have regular members to this group?
Well, it's been a really interesting journey because we've had the pandemic in the middle. So I set it up in 2018. Actually in a different location. It was a different location. And I did that for a year or so before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit in and I decided to do my walks virtually. So I used to walk and talk to the camera and go onto Facebook and kind of support people with their short walks on their own, which was lovely. And that kind of created some interest in what I was doing locally on the Wirral. And I managed to be approached to go on the news, demonstrating the benefits of walking, and that was a great opportunity through the BBC. Very short, but very sweet experience. And then we did that walk here and in Birkenhead Park, because it was such a perfect location. And we've continued on since then, actually in person since 2020, 2021. So I guess you could argue it's like 4 years of this park walking. And and we go, I turn up once a month, first Tuesday of the month, and sometimes a bit more. And then the volunteers and the supporters walk now every week together. So it's been a great experience. And yes, we do, get interest from people that are watching us at the park, and they might approach us and ask how to get involved. Word of mouth, big one. And we're also on what's called the social prescribing list. So I can get people coming through that as well from their healthcare providers, if you want, like a GPs. So it's a variety of ways in. We also put leaflets up here, there and everywhere locally. So building interest is really important. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great job you're doing. And Why do you think, or how do you think walking helps people in mental well being?
Oh, so many different levels. Walking in itself is a physical activity, isn't it? We're moving, and moving in itself um, is good for the brain. What's good for the brain is good for mental health. We're also walking in nature, and there's a lot of evidence to show that can really help with soothing those kind of conditions, particularly anxiety and stress. We walk as a group, and being connected as a group, sharing our concerns, which happens as we walk, our ideas, maybe tips that people have had that could be really, really helpful just to explore our own mental health challenges, supporting people with experiences they may have gone through, like bereavement that's been happening as well within the group. Walking scientifically has been shown to really help mental health, and it can improve conditions such as depression and anxiety. It can help kind of, I suppose you could call it, control or balance the hormones that could be out of balance when we have these conditions. Just walking and any activity can help our gut health, for example. It can help our concentration. It can help create the chemicals in our brain that can help grow and develop our brain. It helps sleep, which is a magic medicine overnight. So it can really help us improve sleep, which is again very good for mental health. Walking in a group can be really, really powerful for that kind of connection that we all need. We are wired for connection. So whatever pace, it doesn't really matter. It can help with our mental health. And then there's all the kind of achievement elements of it, just feeling that you've achieved something for the day, you've got out, being part of that purpose, if you want, being there for others, helping others can be incredibly important for our mental well-being.
Do you have any regular members that you have since you have started the group? Any case study that you could share with us who's benefited when they started in this group and how they have progressed and how it has helped them with their mental well being?
Absolutely. No, I think there's many. One comes to mind, a lady called Helen, who was referred through her physio, and she was very isolated at the time. She had quite a serious health condition that was developing and had developed quite rapidly for her, and had created a whole range of different symptoms. But one of them was anxiety significantly. Physio knew about this, and she thought it might be a good idea because it was very paced to various levels that I would understand where she's coming from, this lady. And so she did. She came along, she overcame a lot of fear just to get into the group. She could hardly walk a few paces, and we just kept it very simple at the beginning. There are many paces within the group. We allow the faster walkers to go faster, and the more slower scenic ones to go slower. And she joined that group. She had a walker to start with. Now she's just gone on leaps and bounds. This is about, oh goodness, 3 years, I think now. She walks now around the whole scenic route, which is a good 30-40 minutes. She can walk further than that now. She does the park walk, what it's called, in the park run. When she's in a good place with her condition, she is far more connected with her local community. And she just loves being part of the group. She offers back a lot of support. She helps me as a leader. And she's great company for everyone. She stands out, but there are others as well. So there's been a chap who had both his knees, one very soon after the other, replaced. So it was very much more physical. He came along with 2 sticks and is now stick free and walking many, many, many steps every day. And he's quite an inspiration. He's in his late 80s, 90s, I think, so he's incredible. The other examples of people that have gone through the unfortunate diagnosis of cancer and have had the support of the group, have felt it was very important for their support throughout that experience. Feeling connected. I would say with mental health, particularly that feeling of being alone and isolated after the pandemic was significant, and that was creating anxiety. The feedback I've had from them is that it's been very important for that to come and feel able to be part of a group that supports them. So a whole range, I would say, and the list kind of goes on, and just that support through bereavements as well. I think overall we've had a few people come to the group, get confident enough to go on to a much more ambitious walking group, which for me I think is fantastic. So they've gone on leaps and bounds to the next level of their fitness, which is great.
What I can see is there's such a nice progress, from how people have started and there they have reached. So I think that's a great job getting people together and encouraging them. Let's listen to what the participants have to say about being part of this group and how it has helped their mental and physical health.
I started being referred by my chest physio for breathing difficulties that had gone for a number of years. I was discharged from here with the suggestion of joining the walking group, which I joined with Dr. Sue in November 2021. From then, I did a 5-10 minute walk only. Now I am walking a good mile and 1.5 miles at a time round the park on a Tuesday with Dr. Sue in the group. And I have benefited greatly from having Dr. Sue's knowledge, guidance, and empathy. She's been really very good to help me the way I am. I wouldn't be here now 3 1/4 years on without Dr. Sue and my physio referring me.
Before you started your journey of walking with this group, with Dr. Sue Smith, Walk with the Dog, how was your health and your mobility, and comparing to starting before this walk, how do you feel now?
Um, much, much better. I was more or less housebound. To do a 5 minute walk would have taken me 25 minutes to 30 minutes. So now I can walk a lot better.
What would you say? How does walking help with the group? Does it make a difference rather than just walking alone on being on your own?
It does make a difference to walk with a group. Chat mentally, it helps a lot. Without the physical side of walking, I probably wouldn't be here today. It's physical side that has meant it helped the mental side.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your giving us your insight of how the walk has helped you. How would you encourage others to join this walk, and what would you like to say?
Oh, definitely encourage anybody who's thinking of walking to do it. The small steps make big ones. And definitely go out there and find a group that you can walk with. But I do recommend Dr. Sue Smith for walking as a group.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you. Thanks a lot and have a wonderful day today. So, this is a wonderful initiative that you started, sir. And this park is lovely, and I've seen people really enjoy. So, have you seen any difficulties they have or any barriers they feel to get themselves enrolled in this program?
Yeah, I think the main barrier would be about confidence. It could be confidence about whether they can manage the walk, confidence in being in part of a community or group, um, and just not being, in the habit, I think, of just coming for a walk, whether they can actually get there, get home, those kind of simple things, I think. Other barriers, I think, is time, fitting it into their week, into their schedule. Everyone's busy, and creating that kind of habit, I guess, of coming along. Once people have cracked that, they come along. Some people are concerned that maybe they're not up for the walk, maybe they're not quite fit enough or whatever. But the point of our walks are not about going for long, hard walks. So there's so many wonderful walks around this area that are more intended for that. This is more about getting outside, spending time in nature, walking at the pace that suits you. So we have different paces, and being part of this group and being able to share that. And my focus is very much on health and well-being. So we focus our talks and our whole conversations, if you want, around health and well-being for them and how steps could be taken with that. So the walk almost becomes the vehicle in which we can have these conversations. So we have people from all different environments that come along, and once they've overcome that confidence barrier, once they've, their anxieties about fitting in are gone, then it's all good going forward from that, and they can fit that walk in. It's around an hour. They can stay longer for a cup of coffee or tea, or just chatting with people. That's entirely up to them. But it's about it, we allow an hour from beginning to end.
Since this is an outdoor activity in difficult weather conditions or weather challenges, how do you manage people or motivate them to come on the walk?
Yeah, well, we tend to do it as much as we can. That's the number one thing. So we come not just in sunshine, but I do encourage, dressing appropriately, being responsible for themselves. If they're not feeling up to it, maybe it's a bit cold or a bit too windy, that's fine. Of course, if the weather's dangerous, I'll cancel. So I will put notifications out on the website, the Facebook group and our WhatsApp group. But generally it will go ahead with the right weather. I think if you're dressed correctly, then most weathers are okay. We're very blessed with this park. There's a lot of shelter, and there's lots of paths. So we're not stuck with having to go on a really long walk. We can just do a little one, a longer one. We can go into the trees and get the shelter. And of course, there's the visitor centre here that we can come in and take shelter. And then would focus more on the talk, spend time talking about things on that week that we're focusing on in terms of health and well-being. We haven't had many cancel. We've gone ahead.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
When it comes to planning your day, what does the typical day look like? Do you have any talks around health? Do you give them any health advice?
Yeah. So each walk, because Walk with a Doc is an international um, mission, if you want. It's led initially started in America and it's spread globally. And I'm one of the local chapters, if you want, and we're on the Wirral. So there's lots of other doctors that are leading walks all around the world, and it all has roughly the same structure. So we have a talk at the beginning, centered around health, well-being, maybe topical things that are going on at the time. Then we go for a walk, and then we come back and kind of regroup, if you want. The doctor, myself, will walk with the group and continue some of the conversations as we go. In other areas, a lot of talking happens on the walk, and other areas, the talk might happen at the end, but fundamentally that's the pattern. And then in terms of the subject of the talks, I focus very much on what are called the pillars of lifestyle medicine. So there's 6 main pillars that will include things like healthy eating, physical activity, sleep, self-care, avoiding harmful activities, and building a really strong community. All those kind of things, so important for health and well-being, and how to integrate that into their own lives, what they're doing already that is already good, they can share with the group. And then also how they can overcome maybe patterns of behavior that aren't serving them and how they could shift them a little bit. And then I'll be talking more about maybe specific areas of, I suppose you could argue, mental health, mental well-being that stop us, things like anxiety, self-care, how to give time to ourselves so that we can benefit from all these things. So the obstacles, and then maybe more specifics, we could be talking about vitamin D, for example, or ways of cooking that could be healthy, or specific exercises that we could be doing. Sometimes we do them on the walk, sometimes we talk about them on the walk. So it varies. So we can be very specific, and sometimes we've handed it over to the group themselves what they want to talk about that time. It could be how to create a healthy habit, or it could be wanting to talk about resuscitation. We've done a resuscitation one, finding out where the actual defib is in the park, local resources, those kind of things. So it can really vary, but the hub of it is health and well-being, health and wellness for the individual, and improving that for them in their lives.
Yeah, I guess this is really amazing. Having those conversations with them before the walk, and keeping them informed about all the health tips and all. I think this is a very nice way of leading the walk.
Yes, I mean, we've had some fantastic conversations, haven't we? And I think some of the walkers have got fantastic ideas and have obviously lived long and fruitful lives. So they come along with resources locally. They know the area really well. So that's really helpful. And then we might have walks where we've talked about the benefits of laughter, for example. And so I give them a challenge to think of a joke and then to come back later on with that, or a program that makes them laugh. So the walk itself becomes somewhere that they can talk about how to um, benefit themselves. Habits, brilliant one. So what have you talked about? Come back to that conversation. So the walk itself becomes a place to talk. And I think that is the most important thing, that the walk becomes a place to talk about those subjects.
And
Yeah.
it seems quite interactive, so it makes it interesting.
Yeah, and relevant. I think that's the most important thing, because it's so easy to dip in and start being like a bit of a telling machine, and you tell them this and you tell them that. Actually, this is far more, both ways, and kind of co-created, if you want. We kind of build the subject between us, and I'm really passionate about making it relevant. Everyone's coming from a different perspective, different situation socially, and understanding each other's point of view. We've had bereavements within the group, we've had challenges at home within the group, and people can kind of support each other with that as well. So, it has this kind of added layer in terms of the role of the walk and the health talk. I try to integrate that into the benefits for that person individually as well as the group itself. Yeah.
What is a simple advice that you would give someone who wants to make walk a part of their daily routine? How would you motivate them?
I tend to go on the science of habits, so habits is what we do every day, whether we like our habits or not. We're doing similar things every day. So the science would say, tag something on to something you're already doing, so that's really great habit stacking. So if you're cleaning your teeth, then do some exercise around that, balance on one leg, that kind of thing. Um, and I think once you've got that kind of cue to go and do things, get your walking shoes ready, make sure you've got the time set aside, understand how to get to and from the park. Once you start repeating that on a regular basis, it starts to trigger that kind of habit of just doing it. And then in between the walks, it's what happens between the walks that matters as much as anything. Is set a time, set a intention, set really small steps. So it could be as simple as going to the end of the road and back again, and building up on the pace on the way back. Try and beat the time out to the time back. Then building the distance, and just set really tiny chunks. And then that is all about not so much the walk, it's about getting the habit up and running. So once you've got the habit up and running, then you can start building the distance and the time and whatever you want it to do. And we've had people go from simple walking to far harder walking, onto ramblers groups, and getting the confidence to do far more. And that's their story. Other people just want to be here and just keep coming on a regular basis. We meet with me leading once a month, and it's in between that they walk, and they'll still come and meet each other here as well in between, which is lovely. So they walk together once a week. And then at home, we talk about that, and we will bring that up. What have you done this week? And I think it's thinking thinking about when, keeping it small and doable, keeping it really simple, and keeping it repeatable, and putting cues out to remind yourself to do that. Um, and then feeding back to the group when you've done it, and getting that applause, getting that celebration. So that really helps people find their kind of motivation and purpose around it all, making it worthwhile for them. It's the most important thing. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Just setting it a small goal.
Yeah.
When they achieve, I think it inspires them
Yes.
and feels motivated, I guess, to do more.
Yes, the confidence builds, and that's where the science fits in. Is that you set small, very doable goals. You have to be, it has to be absolutely doable, and then you do that, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you build gradually as you become more able to do those things. Some people with health conditions, it's all about pacing. So really, bring that in. If you're not up to a lot that day, just do a little bit less. Pace back, pace forward. Just get out and move a bit. Anything is better than nothing, and more is better. Yeah.
Why Birkenhead Park?
Oh goodness, there's so much history here. It's such an old park. It's a people's park. So it's lovely just to be in a park that's got history around it. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of, it's relatively flat. There's a lot of sitting areas dotted around, so it's good for people that can't go a long way. So they've got shorter spots to stop. It's got beautiful viewing points all around the park. We stay on this side mainly, but the faster walkers go over around both parks. So there's two parks right next to each other. It's packed full of nature and lots of wildlife. And so it's not just the walk. We stop, we take photos, we look at what's going on around us. And then you can watch the seasons. The amount of types of trees here is vast. So that's all a good reason. It's set in a very mixed area. It's at the heart of, I guess, the Wirral in terms of social need for people to get out and about. It's very accessible with transport, which is brilliant. The park itself and the wardens, they really care about the park. And I think that's another big area. You get a lot of support from them as well for this kind of thing. So it's a kind of a two-way benefit for everyone.
What are your plans for future development of this program, and how would you like to expand this and so it reaches more people?
Yeah, well, I'd love more walkers. So we are intending to spread the word. We already do, and allow people to know that it's here and that they can be here. It's a free group, so there's no cost. You just need to get yourself here. Um, I'd love to have more of the doctors involved, both from medical students all the way up to GP trainees and other doctors just popping in and out. That would be fantastic. We've got quite a lot of doctors around the country already doing this. They can run them from the practice and incorporate it into their offerings. Um, and yeah, I think that's it really. Just more areas in this patch would be great that are doing it, and also more people coming to each of the groups and doing it with other professionals will just add that extra voice, I guess.
If somebody wants to be a part of this group, somebody wants to join maybe as a volunteer or even who wants to participate in this group, what are the ways they can get in touch with you? Where is information available for people to join this group?
You can go onto the Walk with the Doc website and find their locality. So on the Wirral, I have a website. There's all the contact details on there. We also have a Facebook group that you can approach and ask to be part of. And that's pretty active. We share, like I say, if the walks are cancelled or what's happened on the walks. There's local leaflets you can pick up at the Birkenhead Park, again with the contact details, and then just get in contact and we can get in touch that way.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smith, for wanting to have been on the show and for the wonderful initiative to start movements and take care of your mental well-being.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
We have more happy walking stories from the participants. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Well, what happened is I couldn't walk. I had a stick and they used to drag me foot. And I had both knees done in 2022. I had the first one done in July. I had the second one done in September. And by the time I had to do all the exercises, I was quite slow then right up to Christmas. And I started in January, and I made various goals of like 2,000 steps, 4,000 steps, increasing it every so often till I got to 12,000 steps. And I've constantly done 12,000 steps, even more. In fact, one particular day, I don't know how I did it, but I did 21,000 steps. And in 1 week, I did 104,000 steps, which is a hell of a lot for my age. Most days, I make a goal for myself of 12,000 steps. I often get to 14, 15, even as much as 18,000 steps. I drive myself on when sometimes I think I'm feeling tired, but I think, oh, I can go that bit further. And I often get exhilarated by the fact that I'm trying to reach that goal, and it gives me a lot of pleasure. And by the time I've finished, I'm quite tired, and I then rest the body because of my age. And just after that, I go to bed, and I sleep like a log with all the walking I've done. I'd like to say that even if you're feeling down, go out for a walk, even if it's only to the top of the road and back down again. And if you feel tired, have a sit down on a bench. That I'm sure there's quite a few benches about, and you'll really enjoy it. So that's it. Okay, thank you.
If you're feeling down on another day, going, right, I'm just going to go for a walk. And I have actually done that. So instead of just being and thinking, oh, it's literally go and put your shoes on and just go a walk around the block.
Absolutely.
And it's really helped. Like,
I started the walk because I saw a flyer for it in the local museum, and I used to walk regularly, and I dropped off a bit, and I thought if I joined a group, then that would help me to start walking regularly again. When I joined, when I was walking with the first group, I really was having a bit of problem keeping up, but soon got into the swing of it again. And I found out that from the group that you could walk the park run on a Saturday morning. So I started doing that, and that really helped as well. And then, not content with that, Sue suggested that I try the Couch to 5K, which is to start you running. Well, I've never been able to run in my life, so I thought this was a bit unlikely, but I gave it a go. It's a 9-week course. I've got up to week 8 and I'm struggling a bit, but I'm running more than I've ever run before, and it's great.
I find these walks in Birkenhead Park have offered me opportunities for physical activity, meeting people, and a connection to nature, which all contribute to positive mental health outcomes. I'm hoping to continue these walks for a foreseeable future.
As we wrap up today's enlightening conversation about Walk with the Dog with Dr. Sue Smith, I'm reminded that healing and wellness often come in simplest forms, like taking a walk with others who understand and support your journey. Remember, every step counts, whether it's a step towards better physical health or reaching out to connect to your community. If today's episode has resonated with you, consider joining Walk with the Dog session in Buckingham Park every first Tuesday of the month. For details, please visit our website. Until next time, I'm Vaishali Patil, and remember, it's okay to walk and talk. Stay well and keep walking your path to wellness.